Okay, back for another exciting point of sale video. Um, so I wanted to talk about the true cost of ownership of retail point of sale systems over the course of 7 years, which is kind of the average life of a typical point of sale system. So we're going to make some assumptions here. We're going to talk about what I'm not including, make a few disclaimers, go over the comparison chart, and then make some observations. So here we go. So here's some assumptions. I'm going to assume that you are a retailer or similar business in the United States, and that you will have two checkout lanes and two manager computers, we'll call them. So basically, maybe something in receiving plus the manager's office or the manager and finance accounting person. I'm going to assume that you're starting out fresh in terms of any sort of hardware, software, etc. that you need. I'm going to assume that you need to print labels, and that could mean barcode labels, shelf tags, jewelry tags, etc., etc. Again, that you're going to be getting new hardware and peripherals. And so let me clarify that. Hardware, I'm going to say, refers to basically the computer and the monitor. Peripherals refers to your cash drawer, receipt printer, barcode scanner, barcode label printer, uh, credit card, terminal, customer price pull display, all that stuff. That's why I call peripherals. Also going to assume that you're going to be smart and you're be looking at business class hardware, meaning you're not going to buy a 199 special at Best Buy, but you'll actually look at a business class computer from HP or Dell or similar, which really aren't all that much more expensive than the small business or home type computers. When it comes to some of these costs, if it's a system where you're buying the software license outright, then there'll be the price for the actual software license. If you're going with a subscription-based service or cloud-based with a monthly subscription, I'm going to annualize that either generally for over the course of 12 months. Likewise, if you're buying one of the nicer or more robust point of sale systems, shouldn't say nicer, one of the more robust point of sale systems that is actually where you buy the license outright, I'm going to assume that you will be having someone helping you with the installation and training. But if you're going the mobile or tablet or cloud-based route, you'll be doing your own installation. And I'm just using kind of average costs based on, let's just say about going on 18 years of experience working with 4,600 businesses, plus actually having worked for 7 years in retail management and 7 years in retail management. So time to say what's not included and any disclaimers. The pricing does not include anything related to your internet or other network IT equipment. So no routers, hubs, any of that stuff, cabling. Not including break fix costs, because over the course of 7 years, that's going to be the same. A $350 printer needs replacement, then it's $350. Doesn't matter what point of sale system you have. I'm not including merchant services fees, just because that is going to vary. Hopefully, you are looking at a system that lets you shop around and then choose and change who you're using for merchant services. And noting now too, costs are going to vary depending on your actual options, what you actually need for hardware, and your location. Obviously, a lot of this is based on hourly labor rates, and what they charge in middle of nowhere Idaho is a lot different than what is charged for an hourly rate in Boston or Chicago or Minneapolis or Dallas or anywhere with a larger population. It also does not factor any discounts or promotional pricing. The reason I bring that up is a lot of times there's some wheeling and dealing going on. So I'm using the high end, but it would be very realistic to expect anywhere from a 5% to a 20% discount, depending on who you're working with, off some of the prices that I've listed. So here we go. I'm taking kind of some of the real popular point of sale systems plus ones that I have extensive personal experience with. So going across, the first column is the CounterPoint SQL point of sale software. And then we've got Microsoft RMS, which of course is being replaced by Retail Management Hero, but the initial indications are that the pricing will stay the same. So we can kind of lump those two together. Of course, the very popular Bindo Point of Sale and the NCR Silver Point of Sale. So we've got kind of the two traditional systems that run on primarily local computers, although there are hosted versions available as well, but primarily they're used on-site with all your data stored locally, and then two of the mobile or tablet-based point-of-sale systems. So we've got our license fees. You can kind of see how that compares. First year maintenance. So that's basically with CounterPoint and Retail Management Hero, you have to buy maintenance for the first year. And what maintenance includes, almost kind of like if you prepay for a service package for a car. No, it doesn't include oil changes, but what it includes is, the patches, fixes, updates for 1 year. And then we have our labor for these two systems for installation, and then some ongoing like help desk support. So you have those quick, hey, I forgot how to do this type questions. You're covered for the first year. And of course, with the two tablet solutions, we're saying that maintenance, of course, is included in that monthly fee you're paying, and as is support, and you're doing the installation yourself. Training, you can see the costs for CounterPoint RMH, and then of course you're going to be self-training on the two tablet solutions. We have our hardware costs, so basically where this breaks down to for CounterPoint and Retail Management Hero is 4 computers, 2 flat screen monitors, and 2 flat screen touch monitors. For the 2 tablet solutions, we're assuming 2 computers, because for your back office, and then your receiving or your finance or accounting person, with 2 flat screen monitors, and then 2 iPads at each location. Sorry, at your 2 iPads, 1 for each checkout lane. Peripherals, so basically that is going to include, regardless of the solution, our cash drawer, receipt printer, barcode scanner, barcode label printer, and then either a credit card / debit card reader or a customer pull display or customer price display, depending on what you like to call them. Initial supplies, paper, labels, things like that. And we've got our maintenance costs, because this first year maintenance then renews with these two systems, but would be included in the monthly rate for Bindo and Silver. License fees, of course, you've already bought the software for CounterPoint and Retail Management Hero, so there's no additional license fees. Plus you're getting your updates through these annual maintenance agreements. But you have to factor in the monthly fees you're paying for Bindo and Silver. And of course, that adds up pretty substantially. And of course, we have some ongoing supplies years 2 through 7 for paper and labels and things like that. So you can see in the end, in some cases actually, Bindo and Silver are the same, a little bit less or a little bit higher than even Retail Management Hero. So, it's not safe to assume, and actually that'll segue nicely into our observations and conclusions. A mobile tablet point of sale system may not be less expensive in the long run cost-wise. Of course, it is easier and less expensive to get initially up and running. You need to compare the costs against what you need and want out of a point of sale system for features and functions. And of course, I'll be putting my contact information in the video description if you have questions or observations or noted anything that I might have missed. But I think so that's kind of a misconception that tablet or mobile POS is less expensive. In the long run, it really isn't. But again, it goes back to what do you need? If you're a little kiosk in a mall, then paying $80 a month for a tablet solution makes good sense. versus spending $25,000 on a point of sale system. But if you're a pet store, nursery, or greenhouse, or sporting goods, or fly tackle, or take your pick of retail or museum, thrift shop, etc., and you're doing million a year, and you have more advanced needs and need things like more in-depth reports and ability to have multiple vendors for the same product, stuff like that, then probably makes more sense to spend 18 to 25,000 on a point of sale system because you'll be getting every penny out of it. So hope that makes sense. Thanks for watching.